see what this sounds like. All right. Guess it sounds okay. Let's go.
I smoke 2 joints in the morning.
What?
I smoke 2 joints at night.
Okay, okay.
I smoke 2 joints in the afternoon.
Oh, all the time.
It makes me feel all right.
Agree she's your enemy.
She's the wife of Lyndon Johnson. I consider Lyndon Johnson my enemy.
And she's the wife of your enemy.
Right.
You consider all white people your enemy?
Most of them.
Most of them. Where do you make exceptions?
There are some good white people in this country. In fact, I had some of my best friends are white.
I see.
Would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmic swap. Would you like to dance with me? We're doing the cosmic swap.
Well, welcome. This is Big Pontiac. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. And everything's wiggling around. That's all right. Welcome to my galactic patio, because I am that one and only galactic daddy-o that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. This is Big Pontiac. I am the Time Walker. And this is actually tonight. Well, I'm going to do a 2 parts tonight. I'm going to do 1 part with this, and then later I'm going to do, I don't know, I might wrap it up all into one, because it's kind of in a way a short week. You know, we got a game Thursday, bunch of games Thursday, we got a game Friday, so it's a lot of football coming the next couple of days. I think it's at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 games Thursday itself. So a lot of sports, you know, great time of year. You know, football, I mean, what people didn't realize, even though oh, too much George Clinton. That's all right. They ain't gonna take it down. They just gonna say I can't make no money off it. That's all that is. It's too much George Clinton. Yeah, that's all right. And so yeah, I'm gonna do week 13 results. Or week 12, sorry. Gosh, I got to change that in the header. Week 12 results. And week 13 preview. I'm going to do both in one. Yeah, I played that double of too much of George Clinton. Yeah, they never hit me before, but they got me on this one. They say, okay, that's all right. Eric Hecker, Antitrishida firefighters for Raytheon Express scary earthquake weapon. Where did I play that at? Says I played Eric Hecker, firefighter for Raytheon exposes scary earthquake weapon, SARS 3. I don't know where I played that. Nothing I played was that, so I'm gonna have to fight that one. because that I don't know what it is. But anyway, um, this program is basically me going over how I did my picks. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go over my picks, and actually, it was a good week if you read the heading. And even though I headed it wrong week, I did pretty well this week. Just 12, yeah. So I went 12-2, and so I actually had a pretty good week. And my picks, I lost on the Bills, I lost on I won on the Ravens, Bears, Pats, Lions, Packers, Chiefs. I got the Chiefs pick. Seahawks, Jags, Browns. I lost on my Eagles, which, on a good week, that would be the one they want me to lose. Falcons, Rams, and the 49ers. So I went 12-2 this week. And so for the year, it puts me at 117, 53-1. So, I think that's a pretty decent year, so far on me putting games together and looking at the fix. And that's, you got to look at all of it. You got to look at the fix. You got to look at everything that they'll do to, because games are entertainment. And it's like what's interesting is you can't bet on a movie, but everything you see in a game is like a movie. I mean, it's the same exact thing. And it's almost like, a live movie that can have different variables, where the movie is, once it's set, it has no variables. But this type of sports entertainment, as we see, really well in wrestling, is there are so many variables that it has, that the sport has all these variables going at once. And now they're even trying to make money on those variables. That's the spot betting, the parlays and stuff. Is so and so going to do this and do that, and that is something that they want encouraged. And again, with the league in the betting, you can't tell me that if you're part and making money off the betting system, you can't tell me you're not going to control the games. It doesn't work like that. And it's just like having a movie. Is the movie, once the movie's made, it's made. And so, that's the only difference here is that, you can inject things, you can inject different actions, again, playing the games, each play, and you could say, well, are all plays, like one of the big tips is you'll see one turnover, and you can tell when it wasn't supposed to be a turnover. When you see one team turn the ball over and then you see the other team turn the ball over, it wasn't supposed to be a turnover on the side that originally turned the ball over. That's a makeup. That's usually how they make things up. If that play was off script, that is usually how they make things up. Okay. So that tells part of the script. It was easy, like the criticize of the Eagles game was, did the Eagles really try? I mean, we see that all the time where you can do anything you want in the first half, in the second half, suddenly you can't play defense. You can't stop one of the weakest teams in the league, one of the easiest guarded teams in the league, one of the quarterbacks that, you put pressure on him, the dude becomes less and less accurate. And yet again, we didn't see that. We didn't see any pressure put on him. So it just makes you wonder. It's like, what is, like you can see like what has changed. Like the flow of a game, you can't tell me you go and make a big adjustment, that the defense makes a big adjustment and you can't score and you can't do anything and you can't guard. Like it's only really one way to guard. Like they done figured you totally out, and every time you try to guard them, you can't guard them. I mean, that's just not how the game is. If anything, the more you play against a team, the more you learn on them. And it's easier to predict. And the Cowboys, in my opinion, were real easy to predict. So I don't know. So that was one of the games. The Bills game was even, the Bills game where he just couldn't really do anything at all. What did he get sacked? 7, 8 times? And then Cleveland just sacked a team 10 times, the Jets 10 times. So, and I think Lobo said it best. Lobo was like, anytime you see a big hype of a person, they're probably not going to play well. And that's exactly how Thursday night played out. Everything's going off over here. That's actually how it played out. What am I hearing that from? Hearing something. The Bears game, the Bears and the Eagles are going to be a big game. Right now, I think the Eagles in the NFC are still, let me check thinking again. Are the Eagles still in the first place spot? NFC playoff standings. Ooh. Let me find the standings. What is the picture? Okay, so right now the Rams at 9-2, Eagles being 8-3. The Rams have the bye right now. At 9-2, the Rams have the bye, and I think the Rams, yeah. And in the AFC, the Patriots have the bye. The Broncos, going to have home field. So really, I don't know. So it looks like, and then they get the percentages. The Rams is 99% to be in this spot, and so is the Eagles. So maybe this is how this end. The Buccaneers are going to be in the 4th spot with the Packers. So what? So to be, Rams don't play, they play. It's only 6, isn't it? Right? So right now, the number 1 spots are the Rams, Eagles, Bears, Buccaneers, Seahawks, Packers, and 49ers, first 7 spots. The AFC, it's Patriots, Broncos, Colts, Ravens, Chargers, and the Jaguars. And they show what percentage, because right now they're showing you the Colts are pretty much going to be in the 3rd spot. And there's 7 games left, I think. 7 games left. So, just going over the skit. Now, the Chiefs game was interesting too, but it's again, they Pat can play well, and the other team doesn't play as well. I was surprised. Now the Browns with Shador, just like JJ McCarthy up here, they're not very high on him right now. They're talking about giving the dude from he's still in the protocol, and the backup quarterback that played Brandis, maybe his name is, that played at the U, and he went to another college before the U, but they said he's taking the number 1 start, so more than likely he's going to play. And to think of a team that had Daniel Jones, and they had Doug Jones, and they had the quarterback at the San Francisco, Sam Donaldson, and they had Sam. They had Donald, and did not want to give the money to either one of them. With Jones really having no real opportunity. I mean, why wouldn't you keep and to count on Carson Wentz, to get rid of both of them and count on Carson Wentz in case something goes bad? I mean, they put their eggs in one basket. The Broncos, they put all their eggs in one basket. So the Vikings, and that's why the Vikings gonna miss the playoffs. It's very slim for them. And the 49ers, I'm still not convinced with him. He threw 2 stupid interceptions. Those 2 interceptions he threw last night was really stupid for the Niners. Purdy was very dumb interceptions. They're just going through all my videos. I just got 5 videos that can't be monetized, but I don't monetize any of these. None of them. I don't monetize any of them. I never do. Not the ones when I talk. So it's kind of silly, I guess, that they would. But so the season is turned out, pretty decent as we go in. And I was going to turn around and give my picks too. So I'm gonna have to change the header when I get done. But I'm gonna give my picks for next week too. So I'm gonna switch screens so everybody can see what I see. Whoops, wrong one. It's this one. Yay. All right. So as we go to Thursday night game, we've got two games. Yeah, I was thinking it's going to only be two. But we have the Packers Lions, which is a very traditional game, and then the Cowboys and the Chiefs, which now they're making the Chiefs tradition, but the Cowboys have been more of a tradition than the Chiefs. The Chiefs the last few years, but Lion Packers, it goes back like a lot of times they would split these two teams up, where the Lions would play somebody and then the Packers would play because this tradition has been so long of both of them playing on Thanksgiving. So, but the Cowboys, I have to say, since 74, 75, they've been putting when what was his name? Langley, he punched Roger Staubach. But when he came in and the Cowboys beat the Redskins, I want to say Kurt Langley, I think was his name. And that had to be 70, 72, 70, maybe 73, 73, 74 season. So the Cowboys have been around, on Thanksgiving. They got those in. And so going into the Packers and the Lions, I am going to pick the Lions at home. Not to say that the Packers won't play good, but I'm definitely going to pick the Lions at home. Now this next game, the Chiefs and the Cowboys is going to be an interesting game again Sunday night. How far are they going to let the Cowboys roll? And that's the big question. Because people, to me, it seemed like the sucker bet would be on the Cowboys, and even though the Chiefs have been kind of struggling, I still see the Chiefs as a much better team, but a lot of money is probably going to be on the Chiefs, and I bet if I look up the odds, let's look up the odds. Oh. Hey Siri, can you find me the week 13 playoff odds? Oh, whoa, went away that quick. Went away that quick. Hey Siri, show me the NFL odds week 13. We're going into the new week. Siri, show me week 13 gambling odds. All right, maybe this will give it to me. What? Okay. Early odds: Cowboys home underdog on Thanksgiving. Bills road favorite versus Steelers. That I'm not surprised. So it's over and under is 13. So Packers and Lions, they're only giving the Lions 3. The Lions are giving up 3 to the Packers, which is pretty cool. Chiefs and Cowboys, the Cowboys are giving up. No, the Chiefs are giving up 3 to the Cowboys. Yeah, and over under 51.5. Okay. And so I am going, gosh, I've been kind of rolling with the Cowboys, and I know this is probably a sucker bet, but unless I change my mind, I'll see how I feel. They might let the Cowboys go on a roll. It's hard to say. So I'm going to go Cowboys, just as an upset. And then the Bengals and Ravens, the odds are 7.5. The Ravens are giving up 7. And the over and under is 51.5. I am definitely taking the Ravens. That's who I'm in up here. Yep. Oh, Thursday, late game. So those are new. Okay, 3 games on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Okay, 3 games. All right, we go down, I think, to the Bears-Eagles Friday night. Whoa, Bears-Eagles on Friday night. And we have the Eagles giving up 7 to the Bears. I'm going Eagles at home. And this might be the NFC Championship game, depending on, where they place. Eagles-Bears. Cardinals, Buccaneers. I'm going with the Bucks, even though they've lost a couple. They should beat They should beat them. Am I still going where? Let's see, because up here, let's see, this one's a little different. This one's a little different. Okay, I'm gonna follow this one though, and then I'll go up. It's the same thing. I'm going over, so I'm just going in line. That up here doesn't have the televised. Well, what times? This has the times how the games are coming. So, because let me see, where did I leave off? I got the Bucks. Okay, Falcon. Okay, right there. Falcons, Jets. Falcons, Jets. I'm taking Falcons. I've been kind of rolling with them, and the odds are, uh, let's see, they're giving the Falcons is giving two and a half up, 2.5. Yeah, giving 2.5. Yep. And so the Chiefs are favored. Chiefs are giving up 3.5. I don't. I should go. Call it where I get the pick too. I think the Cowboys. I'll say. I would dare say, and to win points back for myself. I'll dare say that the Chiefs won't cover. I'll go to say that the Chiefs will not cover. And if they don't cover, I'm gonna take that as a win. Even if the Chiefs win, I don't think they'll cover. That's the only one I'm gonna do like that. Okay, following along, we are going to go to Texans and Colts. I don't think the Colts are going to play another bad game, especially at home. Right now, they're giving the Colts 3.5, and I say that they will cover. See, am I right? Falcons, Buccaneers was Jets. Or I didn't write that down. Yeah, I got the Falcons, Colts, Jets. I am going with the Colts. I think they'll bounce back at home. Over and under is 39. Texans and Colts. Colts are giving up 3.5. Yeah, 44-5. I'm sorry. Jaguar and Titans. I'm going with the Jags. Jags should be favored. Ooh, I would dare say the Jags won't cover. Yeah, I don't think the Jags will cover this, but I think they'll win. Yep, I don't think the Jags will cover. Yeah, right here. I don't think the Jags will cover, but I think they win. And I'm going to put that on that game too. Won't cover. Okay. Panthers, Rams. I think the Rams can win on the road. Rams win by 9. I say yes. Rams win, and the over and under is 46. Saints and Dolphins. Where are we up here? Saints, Dolphins. Is that on the board? Let's see. Saints, Dolphins. I think everything else is where I'm at. Saints. Yeah, everything else is covered. Okay, so Saints and Dolphins. The Saints and Dolphins. I am picking the Dolphins to win at home, and the Dolphins are favored. They are favored, and they are favored by 5. I say they cover, and over and under is 42.5. 49ers and Browns. Right now they have the 49ers at 6.5. I'm gonna roll with the Browns again. He probably won't win, but I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna put this. 49ers won't cover. They won't cover that one. The Browns have a good defense, and look how low they're saying it's gonna be. 40. 40 is the over and under. Okay, the Vikings and Seahawks. I say the Vikings go down again. No emotional pick with JJ. JJ is so glass. And Seahawks are 9. I'll say Seahawks cover. Seahawks are 9.5. I'll say they're covered. The over and under is 42. And the majority of points won't be with the Vikings, especially if they start that other young quarterback. And then we've got Bills and Steelers. This is a tough one because they're giving the Bills 4. I've been rolling with the Bills. I think the Bills bounce back. I think the Bills will beat the Steelers. Bills are favored by 4. This one, the game, I don't think they'll cover either. Steelers by what is it again? 4? Yeah, won't cover. I think the Bills win, but I think they won't cover. I'll put that on there too. Raiders, Chargers. Chargers. Chargers just beat them a couple weeks ago, and Geno is not that good, and they're giving the Chargers 10, 9.5. Yeah, I put won't cover. I don't think they'll cover either. Chargers has not been playing very well. Commanders and Broncos. I say Broncos went on the road and will cover. I say Broncos cover. I would say they cover. And then Monday night, we have the Giants. We have the Giants and the Patriots. And I say Patriots win at home and Patriots cover. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So that's my picks for the week. So my picks for the week again are Lions, Cowboys. I'm picking the Cowboys, but I think the Chiefs won't cover. I'm gonna pick the Cowboys, but I would say Chiefs don't cover. If the Chiefs do win, I don't think they'll cover. Ravens, Eagles, Bucks, Falcons, Colts, Jags, Rams, Dolphins, Broncos, Seahawks, Bills, Chargers, Broncos, and Pats. With the Broncos and Pats should cover. I think even if the Niners win, I think they'll get played a tough game. The over and under is only 40, so I think they're looking at a tough defensive effort, and so that's my picks for the week. Been doing okay. So look forward. I don't know if y'all been watching a lot of hooping. Let me see who watched. I watched last night. The Houston game. Houston. It'll come to me in a second. Who Houston played. But the Thompson guy, man, he could play. He can play. One time, Suns, they played the Suns. One time Booker grabbed his arm. That was kind of a dirty play. And kind of luckily, you can't you can't grab people awkwardly. It's too easy to get injured. And he grabbed him by his opposite shoulder. And they gave him two. And it's interesting. They gave him 2 shots to make 1. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, it used to be 3 to make 2. Do y'all remember that? You got 3 shots to make 2. Back in the probably 80s. Back in the 80s was 3 to make 2. So they gave you 2 to make 1. That's what they gave him when they called the foul on that. But overall, it was a good game. Kevin Durant did not play for Houston. Green did not play. Durant's in Houston. Yeah. And Green didn't play for Phoenix. That's right. Durant didn't play for Houston. Green didn't play for Phoenix. So that's what it was. That's what it was last night. So, and I got to watch a little bit of college. Watched kind of going back and forth. I didn't see it Michigan, but they was blowing them out because right now a lot of teams are in tournaments. So tournaments are going on, and that's the beautiful thing about college basketball, and that's why the NBA is even added tournaments. I don't know if you guys caught this Sunday morning since it wasn't NFL Sunday morning game. It was it was a European game, but I want to say they were playing in Germany maybe. Because what's his name? Oh my goodness, he used to play for the Maverick, but he was playing over there. I got to think of his name. His name will come back to me in a second. But that cat played, and they won. It was a good game, and really looking at basket manipulation too, because most pro leagues and when they televise this game, but who was that game? I can't remember who the 2 teams was and the player that played. The one guy, I can't think of his name, but he used to play for Dallas. But it was a brother that he could score, and he played for this team, and he ended up hitting some clutch free throws. But that's what was on. I got up early last Sunday, and it was interesting watching the game. Matter of fact, the game went into overtime. One of the European cats hit a deep 3. They was up 3, and he hit a deep 3 to tie with 2 dudes on it. It was sweet, kind of faded off, and boom, busted it on him. But it still looked like it was manipulation. They had one brother that looked like he was 7'2", but again, didn't really have a lot of hand skills and stuff. If you was just watching him, his hand skills didn't really look that great. So, because he was catching it right under the bucket and then kicking it right out. When we see that kind of thing, we know the dude really, he's not coordinated. Okay, gotta get that. Uh, I'm caught up. All caught up in shit. Okay. Oh. But the quality, like if we really look at, because we know what the two minor leagues of the NBA is. For years and years, if they wanted to bury a person, they would send him to Europe. Europe was considered one of the lower minor leagues. When before the G League, when the CBA was involved, and the CBA was older than the NBA, as far as a continuous unit until they CBA got in hard times, and Isaiah Thomas bought it with the promise to make it bigger. He bought every team. He paid the $10 million, which basically bought every team, and he pretty much destroyed it, knowing that they wanted the G League. But at one time, the CBA was a solid league, and that's what history doesn't really tell. There is a book out that talks about the history of it, and I need to order it because I think it's on eBay. But it's the history of it's the history of the Eastern Leagues. Is another name for it. Was the Eastern Leagues, and so a lot of solid players came out of there. You even had NFL players playing in the off season, and it was so competitive that I don't know if you guys know this, but you can catch the pictures. At one point, the NFL was competing in some of these semi-pro leagues because if you read the Ernie Nevers, one thing, if you study Ernie Nevers and you see pictures, Ernie Nevers, even though he didn't get to play an NFL season, he played semi-pro before he died for the Browns. He played for their hoop team before he died. There's pictures of him. And I think Jim Brown played. So that's what a lot of these dudes would do. Matter of fact, I saw the Lions. The Lions would like and just like the Globetrotters, some of these pro teams was doing this. I saw the Lions play against some of the local folks when I was in probably junior high. Some of the Lions came and played basketball against some of our local talent, adults, semi-pro people. But the Lions came. Charlie Sanders, I know is an old name, and has he made the Hall of Fame? I'm not sure. But I remember seeing him come play. And some of the other Lions. And so, that's my point is a lot of them would play in these semi-pro leagues. And you find, I don't even want to say like Bob Gibson. I know he played for the Globetrotters, but I think he played in one of those leagues. And, one of the most famous people that most people would know that played in the Eastern League was George Gervin. Because when George Gervin, and I think he only played 6 to 10 games, but he played with a team out of Flint. And I came across this picture, and I knew he was on a dude who played at Western Michigan University named Chuck Washington was on the team too. Chuck was on the team too. So it was like a couple people looking at the picture. I knew a couple people. I knew Gervin, but I knew Chuck, and I knew Gervin. The first time I saw Gervin might have been his rookie year at Virginia, and he played at our game. It was where I lived in Kalamazoo. It was called the Hoopsters. They had a summer tournament where they had talent come. Semi-pro and pro people come from all over the country. And Gervin came and played with a Detroit team. And he broke his hand on the dunk. Went in for a dunk and dunked it and broke his hand. And he didn't play after that. His team still did well. And so I got to see a lot of Steve Nicks. Trying to think of offhand. Steve Nicks used to play with Dr. J and them and George Gervin and them for the 76ers. Left hand, big rugged European, American European guy. But a lot of dudes came, a lot of dudes that I knew and later played against some of these dudes. But it was a big summer tournament. And it's like, I've talked before I played in money tournaments my own self. That's why when I hear people talk about, that do something else and talk about hooping, other than not playing in the NBA, I hooped as any grown man could hoop. That was, that's one thing that my generation really, is great for my generation. And you just talking about being active. That's the biggest thing. But I was really able to hoop well into my 40s playing in these leagues. I have one friend that he was so good, he might still be playing. He's shorter than me, but could shoot. And I wouldn't be surprised he's still playing in his 60s. I don't know. He had a lot of injuries, so it's hard to say. But and I guess my pivot is just saying that, they want to make a lot of people think that you didn't make it. But even if you play softball, if you play softball, technically softball in cities is semi-pro too. They want to tell you just traveling teams, but anytime you pay the umps and you pay for the field, that's semi-pro. So a lot of you got to, do something that was extra and beyond high school. And for me, basketball, coaching, reffing, I was able to do every aspect of it. And that's what you're supposed to do with the game. That's why, you see so many announcers. And it's a shame, I'll say one of the biggest shames is the way they get rid of, like, most sports. And going even back to baseball, most sports is dominated by the former players being the coaches. And then we see, how the NFL and NBA have developed the dudes. And that's the only sports that's really like that. Because baseball is strictly, I'm not going to say it's in-house, but it's baseball managers, particularly, that managed on some level. You don't see them bringing just the video person and let the video person be a manager like the dude in Miami. Or the way the Ursays, got to, and the Grudens, those families work together to get, people that didn't play the game, or played in college. Because I think a couple of Grudens played in college. But not the Ursays, Again, scouts. And, hey, Jamar, thank you for joining. But scouts, and coaches, but they didn't actually play. The fuck is this? I don't know. And so, you see how the NBA just wants to get these other cats that just never coached or played. Just boom, look, and I say Rex Chapman, I mean, again, no experience. But one thing that you got to look at TV, what TV does prepare you for is you still have to prepare for the games when you do games. That's why it's so easy for the announcers to go right into coaching, because you're preparing for the game anyway. And that's what you have to understand. That's what we saw with Doc Rivers. I mean, you prepare. You have to go in there and talk and seeing everybody. And know the guys, so you know them by name. So when they come in, even though you can look down, see the number to remind you, you still have to prepare. I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Hope I don't have too many more of them. So you prepare, you travel, you prepare, you scout. You try to pick up little tendencies to relate, to be color. So this is something that, is, and that's why it's pretty natural, because you're kind of at a coaching level anyway. And as you see through, we've got even Steve Kerr, we see about 4 coaches that went right in from coaching, from broadcasting to coaching, begin because of the preparation. And that's, you see the preparation there. And so that's why a lot of them, we see it. I want to get off basketball for a minute, and I'll probably go back to sports, but this is the new drops. Let's see when it comes in and all these lights. Where's it writing? Get it focused in. Ah, there we go. Getting it. Finding it somewhere. It's not picking it up. Anyway, let's see way back here. Maybe it still doesn't look like it's picking up. But anyway, this is thing. This is still gotta look up here. Retro Bakery, citrus berry, 50 milligram drops. So pretty much a whole milligram. So like this whole thing holds a milligram, but one whole thing is, I think, just 1 milligram. Let's see, what does it say? Yeah. I'm letting it go. Yeah, each one holds a milligram. And this stuff is pretty good. I mean, really long lasting. But this is this comes from THC from hemp. And remember, hemp and marijuana are close cousins, but a little different. And so what the law they just passed is outlawing these and the gummies made from hemp. Now, flour in the states that flour is legal, flour, wax, hash, those things are still going to be around. But this kind of thing in a year is going to be gone. And this is the reason why they're getting rid of this. Mitch McConnell in Kentucky is the one that has set it out because, again, the farm, they're putting a banishment on it again for all its good health reasons, is because people stop buying liquor and beer. They said that this product and the gummies and the drinks was interfering with cigarettes and alcohol. That's why they went after the hemp business. That and no other reason. People were liking this alternative. Matter of fact, they're getting rid of the creams. If the cream is 0.10, the thing that's going to make it, you can't do the cream or the lotions or the soaps. You can't smoke none of that. They're saying even that's outlawed. But to outlaw this and saying flour is still legal because of cigarettes and liquor. That's why. Mitch McConnell from the alcohol state. And they put, they're saying it's a high class again. They're saying the flour is unregulated. You can get any kind of flour that you want. But these other things that have become billion-dollar businesses, they want to get rid of. They want to regulate. And not just regulate, got rid of. 0.3, 0.4 has no effect on you. And that's why they put it at those numbers. They have no effect. No healing effect, no anything. And so basically, people aren't going to want that. And that's why they want to kill it. And they've killed it. It's killed. Now, I don't know what kind of negotiations, but again, they're wiping out a billion-dollar business. Because they went to war with those people, because those people have taken away smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol, drinking hard liquor. And under the guise, and Keith Ellison here in Minnesota, he signed for it. He signed for it too. And they stuck it in at the last minute of the government being shut down. That's how dirty it was. There were no speeches about it, no back and forth. This is if you want this to go in, this has to go in. They just shoved it in there and put a prohibition again against hemp and hemp-derived products. Now, I don't make any money off it one way or the other, but I think it's totally unfair. And it's, again, the reason why. And the allegations are saying children is getting that shit, which is bullshit. I mean, there's a chance that, you got a bag of flour and the children get it. Now, ain't too many children going to eat flour. But, I mean, it's not like people still can't make flour cookies from flour. You can make your own butter. Edibles. I mean, that's online more than ever. So you can just take your flour, boil your flour down and get it into oil, and you can put it into your own. So it's not like they're stopping it, but they're stopping the hardworking people that put the effort to do this and taking away jobs. This group that said they were adding so many jobs. Remember, this group that said that they've been adding are in a year's time, next November, are taking away all this whole industry. Destroying a complete industry over what? Has nothing to do with the better health of the people, because they want people to go back to cigarettes and drink more. So I say, if you like those kind of things, you can make your own drinks. You know, you can still get like just THC drop from flour. So, that's going to be around. And if you got to get it from, people in the streets, and that's where you just got to get it from. So, because you can still get this kind of stuff. The interesting comes in regular bags now. I still got the holidays coming up. I still got a lot. And this here, I ain't even smoked this here. That's some of that JoJo Dancer. And I still don't think this was 2 grams. I'm pretty sure he didn't give me 2 grams. But look at that there. So I don't know. But yeah, that's my holidays. And high schools, the high schools are done today up here. The schools are done up here. So they don't go back till Monday. So the high schools and all the schools are closed. It's games tonight. Hey, researcher, what's happening? Yeah, exactly. A lot of there's different things. If you look at it, what affected things, and that's one of the things that is just it's going to cripple a business, and it's law now. It's 12 months, 12 months, and then it's going to go away. Now I don't know, if there was they shot down all the amendments to it, so I don't know what's going to change. What's going to change? Anything that's helpful, again, get people off of liquor and beer, liquor and cigarettes. I mean, you can't look at that as all bad. And then it's funny, like it's been dark since 5 o'clock, and it seemed like when we got here, because we've been out and about. I had to go to chiropractor today, and I don't know. Other people share their news. I had some good news today. I do have a blood clot in my brain, and they caught it when I had my stroke, but I got a CT scan a year ago, and they said, well, we just wanted to see how it's doing. And then I had another one today, and it was the same. So they's like, no worries. They say, you're probably one of the percentage of people where you're 60, and it's probably not going to change the rest of your life. So that was kind of good news, kind of cool to hear. So that's what, and I had to go to chiropractor and take my daughter to the chiropractor. So I love going to the chiropractor. It always, man, my upper back really needed it. And, it's active. And then tomorrow, I'm probably going to be another 3 day, at least 2.5 hours or 3 days of pickleball. So I'm going to play a lot of pickleball tomorrow. So I look forward to it. I imagine people are leaving and stuff, but it'll still be enough people in there to play. So then, like our group, it's only 6 people anyways. Whoever wins keeps playing. And it's 2 hours. And then the gym goes 2 hours after that. So and I usually stay and play the next session, So look forward to that tomorrow. Look forward to that. Again, Tuesdays I take off, but again, I had a couple doctor's appointments. So, and tomorrow I wasn't anticipating being able to go earlier because we're going to play at 10. So I look forward to that. So, yes, thank you. Yeah, I was. My wife was relieved. And again, it's a little stress, it's a little stress hearing it. And it's funny, the doctor said, well, do you want to take a pictures of it? Because they had the one from last year and the one of this year, and it was identical. So, and it doesn't take long. They put some shit in you. And that's why I've been drinking, but I've been peeing, so I can tell that shit's out of me. But it's just the dye they put in your system, and it goes through your system, but it helps you take pictures of your brain. And then the CAT scan, builds a picture of your brain and looks down. So, yeah. And, and I really tried, like today's the first time I had meatloaf, I think, all month. I've cut down a lot on red meats. It's just like certain places when you get fish, it's not good fish. It's just not. It's really not good fish. So certain places I'd be leery of eating fish. Because I kind of went on a fish diet, but I ate meatloaf today. But I got a good salad in too. And just don't eat, a lot of junk. That's the biggest thing. And I can't eat cashews. Cashews are filled with cholesterol. So more than 18 a day is too much. So a little bit of cashews. I cut down way much because I'd have big things of cashews like this and would just sit there with them. Just one of my favorite things to eat. But apparently they have high cholesterol. So I had to cut down on that. So. And it's funny, like with chips, my daughter's taking health class. My daughter was like, the chips aren't that good for you. I probably get way too much sodium. And I was trying to tell her that. I'm like, yeah. And it's funny, when my boys were younger, they wanted to give them Ritalin, Adderall, and that kind of shit. And now it's the energy drinks. It's like my daughter was like, well, if I don't have an energy drink, I get sleepy and I fall asleep by such and such hour. But that's the new Ritalin. The energy drinks are the new Ritalin because it has the same kind of effect on you. You know, coffee and Ritalin, Adderall, you know, is all the same kind of effect as the caffeine. And for some people, the caffeine does make them focus. So you got these children in there hyped up on caffeine, but it does help them focus. Because if it was really, if there was against it, my daughter's school, my daughter's high school, my boys graduated from there. They have like their own coffee shop. You know, their own Caribou, their own yeah, it's their own coffee shop, Starbucks. They got their own Starbucks in the school. I mean, it's interesting. They have like they're not part of the lunch program. I think they just said I think they just joined maybe the breakfast program, or maybe they're funding their own breakfast program. Because when my boys was going to school there, you know, the teachers pitched in and bought stuff for the children. You know, so yeah, keep staying active and exercising, reminding the younger folks to always try to stay on top of your game. Yeah, yeah. You have to, you know, you everything like your teeth, your hearing, your sight, um, just everything. You have to, you know, care about yourself enough to uh, consider everything you do and what kind of effect it has on you. Um, but food is definitely one thing. I mean, you do like now, honestly, I'm quantifying, but like all of you have had to walk into a store and looked at the candy aisle and know that's just nothing but poison. And these people spend, I mean, this is $1 billion industry that you think they want that to go away? Candy? Candy is $1 billion industry. And do you think the candy people want that to go away? Because some of, you know, like my wife went to Spain and the M&M she ate in Spain, she said tastes nothing like the M&M she ate here. You know, all those dyes and stuff in them other countries, they don't allow that stuff. But yet we do. We allow all those dyes and all those chemicals. And it's like, you know, business and you know, they want to kill people. Let's get that straight too. They want to kill people. I mean, they've said for a long time the reason why health beers or the universal health bills haven't passed in the past is to kill melanated folks because they would get universal health too. And they figured the more health they gave, you know, melanated people, the longer they'd live. And they want the opposite. They want the opposite. My daughter was sniffing and snorting, and I'm wondering if I'm catching it. Usually, if she has a cold, she passes it along to me. I think I've just been fighting allergies, but maybe that's what I got now. And so, that's why, you know, you're not going to get that good advice to take care of yourself. That's the biggest thing is you just, who do you ask? If you don't really study that stuff yourself and start looking into, you know, labels and stuff and seeing what's in stuff and seeing what you're putting in yourself and understanding what you're putting in yourself. Because I mean, like I've probably eaten 2 cookies this year. My daughter made some cookies and I teased her. I said, I hope I don't fall out because I know it's a ton of sugar in this cookie, but you know, that kind of thing. I went to a Starbucks a while ago and groups of middle high school students stopped through and were getting coffee, waiting for their parents to pick them up. I just shook, oh yeah, it's very common. Our Starbucks, our Targets have Starbucks in them. The majority, I can't say all of them, but well, the one near me and the one in Prior Lake, the second one nearest me. I'm trying to think. The one in Apple Valley, yes, they have a Starbucks inside, and then we have another smaller place called Kowalski's, and then we have Lund's, and Lund's has Caribou inside of them. So they're not Starbucks, but that's our second biggest coffee brand is Caribou. And matter of fact, it's been like a couple well, they were saying the Starbucks were going to close, but these Caribous is everywhere too. No, so far they haven't closed around here, but eventually that's what they say they're going to do. They're going to close some around here, so we'll see. But Haven't seen any so far. So, and tonight, let me see if I can bring this up. We have a snowstorm warning, so we're about to go get. Well, as soon as my wife wakes up, we're going to go shopping today instead of tomorrow because for Thanksgiving it's supposed to probably just be snowy but not snowing. Let's see, where are we? We had a winter storm warning. Let's see if this will bring it up. This didn't change nothing. Oh, okay. Show you guys the weather we about to get. Because we haven't had real winter in the last few years. So I'm trying to, I think my phone is better than this. Okay, so 98% humidity. So it's gonna snow. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's gonna be snowing at 8. I don't think it's snowing right now because we're under storm watch. See, the winds are kind of gusty, so we're getting snow there. Expect a light snowfall. I think it's chilly out now at 38. 38 really ain't bad. Wednesday, 27. Expect light snow. See, they've been calling for snowstorms. But don't see it here. Do not see it here. Severe weather. Let's see if this comes up. Let me see. Rain to heavy snow from west to east this afternoon, and tonight snowfall rates exceeding 1 inch per hour, and strong northwest winds gusting to 45 miles per hour may lead to blizzard-like conditions. So we do have winter storm alert. You must travel, keep an extra flashlight, food, and water in your vehicle in case of an emergency. And call 511. Heavy snow. Heavy snow and blowing expected 2 to 4. And I know up north it's even going to be more. Minnesota, yeah, it's not. Let me see. Oh, okay, here we go. So now they must have called it off because now it doesn't look like we're, down here. Okay, so it looks like it's going to snow from 1 a.m. until 11 tomorrow. That's what they're showing here. Yeah, till about 11. So when I go play pickleball in the morning, it'll probably be snowing. I don't have my handkerchief in here to blow my snoot. So that's what we're facing here. But we both got good cars. Damn, missing football coach. Where did they go? Missing football coach now considered fugitive. Oh my goodness. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. It's hoop games tonight, though. It's real hoop games. Cops say he wanted for allegedly possessing. Whoa! Cops say he's now wanted for Travis Head is undefeated scorer beds in Big Stone, Georgia, the team in orange. So he's possessed child photography. I've never even seen any child photography. So I don't know pornography. Child, wow, he's a fugitive. They know he been looking. Hey, you. Okay, here's a notification. Weather notification. Oh, it's the same. And the heavy areas are supposed to hit. Let's see this again. The heavy areas are supposed to hit. See where I am. I am. St. Paul, Red Wing. This is way north. Okay, St. Prague. So all these cities this is south of me. Okay, I am here. Yeah, right there. I think, right there. Yeah, because I'm south of St. Paul. I was just trying to find where the city was. Oh, there it is. It came up. There it is. That's where I'm at. I'm in Burnsville. So we're in the moderate area, it looks like, if I'm reading this right. Extreme. No, we're there. Let's see. Yeah. So I'm on the border of extreme. Yeah, if you look at, yeah, I'm on the border of extreme. Twin Cities a little higher up. Let's see if we can go. Yeah, Twin Cities are like right here. So I'm south. Huh. So wow, we're gonna get it. Our area is supposed to get it. This is interesting. Our area is gonna get it, y'all. And it's really not that cold. Long as it stays, if it stays closer to this temperature, but when the temperatures fall, that's when that snow falls. But right now at 38, it's gonna make it rain. So, but it's okay. We got everything. That's why we're gonna shop. But, you know, it's only 7 o'clock, and I think Target doesn't close till 10. It seems the most beneficial information, like health and finance, we have to come from your house, has to come from your household. Most info taught or discussed publicly is the food lack of real nutrition. Yeah, it is. It's like definitely, and you know, like when we look back at people years ago and why they ate so quickly, it turned into hydration. But again, you know, you have to look at the great generation as people really attack with cigarettes and alcohol. And then when, you know, and what's so sad about that generation when cocaine really hit hard, most of those people was in their 30s and 40s, late 20s. And you know, you kept that habit from your 30s to your 40s, your 50s. That's why we saw a lot of them entertainers, you know, not make it. You know, cigarettes, alcohol, and then when they introduced cocaine, you know, this thing that really was going to make your heart unstable. That's why I like people like George Clinton, Sly Stone, even Sly Stone, that make it as far as he did. It's really quite a surprise. And, you know, especially the people that not just smoke crack, but freebased. Freebase is a lot harder on your system. So. Diddy looks, see how they, when they try to keep people alive, you know, they still will bring them up. When they try to keep people's names alive, where'd it go? You know, why? Why is his name still out there? They're trying to still keep him viable. You know, they're trying to still keep his name out there. So that's interesting how they do that. They just still want you to think about a person. And you can compare that to like how when Obama was president, they were still trying to keep Trump. You know, the birther thing was a way to keep your name out there. That was a way to keep Trump relevant. Was talking about where's Obama's birth certificate. That the only reason they did that was to keep Trump relevant, to keep it on people's mind that he's speaking up, because they knew. And that's the same with his TV show, the timing of all that. They wanted him to his name to be out there, to be recognized, because they knew they were about to use him. So, and even like when you look at when Ronald Reagan tried to run against Nixon and he dropped out because he knew he couldn't win. But he knew he could beat Carter. You know, he knew he could beat Carter. And that's what happened. And it's very close to, like, I say, you know, I've talked about this many times before. The Carter times was probably the highlight of the civil rights movement, where people got along the most in America. And there was waves and flows where people really, you know, got along, and they did something to break those waves. But Jimmy Carter, the disco era, really was my teen and late teen years. Well, my early teens, when Jimmy Carter was president. He was president from when I was ninth grade till I was a freshman in college. So you know, the Billy Carter years were definitely, I look back at how people got along. And, you know, yes, when I went to my freshman year in college, when I was in Greensboro, yes, the Klan did kill some people, killed 5, 6 people on TV, and all of the Klan in Greensboro got away with it. The Greensboro massacre, which was 40 some years ago now. I was living down there. Matter of fact, I used to live by the place. And it's interesting, they tore all that place down. When they showed the documentary of it, there was two that I caught, but I caught the old one that I saw 20 years ago. They made a new one. And when they showed the new one, all that stuff is tore down. But it was a place where I used to go every day. You know, we used to, when I worked for the water department, we used to like ride share. You know, people from one dude would have a truck and pick all of us up on the way to work. We paid so much, you know, he got to take the truck. He got to, you know, one of his perks, if he was a supervisor, was he got to take a truck home. And I think he just had to put gas in. Or no, I think they paid it, but I forget. But we had to pay him gas money at least. So maybe he did have to pay his own gas. But I don't know, because we used to fill up the truck at the gas things. I don't know. I don't know if they took it out their checks or what. I don't know. But I was living there then. But overall, the way people got along was a lot different. And I remember the terror. I'll say even terror. How people was like, the way people perceived Reagan is a lot of the way that a lot of the people perceived Trump. You know, as far as a racist change. And from the first time, you didn't think it was going to be such a racist change. And I voted for Trump, but you know, it's the change. You know, getting rid of the dude, the Pacific Fleet, not the Pacific Fleet, but the Pacific Commander, the number one person in America that knows how to fight in Asia, has spent his whole career on how to fight in Asia. And the guise is that you got rid of him because he's a brother. That's the guise. So it does make you wonder, are they trying to lose any kind of battle? Why would you, that kind of talent? I mean, was it really down to Jim Crow? Was that kind of talent got rid of because of Jim Crow? Because they're Woodrow Wilson. That's what Woodrow Wilson did. He was the final person that kicked all the brothers out of the White House and federal jobs. He got rid of all the federal jobs for brothers. The brother Smalls, was that his name? I think Smalls was the last postal inspector or inspector general or something like that. And he was one of the last ones that got to serve out his time of being in the federal government. But the rest of the folks was kicked out. When up to, you know, that point, feds was hiring brothers almost to all the positions. A lot of postal people in states that had postal jobs, had federal jobs. When they did Reconstruction and they spread their tentacles through, a lot of these brothers was doing them jobs and continued to do them jobs up until Woodrow Wilson. So we're talking about 1860s all the way to 1911. With the last of the person really being pushed out, came out in 1911. And so is that what we're seeing again, you know? And then, you know, the way that they've got rid of so many melanated women that had so many government positions, that played the game that the government played, the collusion the government played. The government and high schools, which is state, all colluded to say, hey, the only way you're going to make it is if you go to these colleges and get these loans. You can't make it. We're not even accepting applications if you don't have a college degree. Even though you may be qualified to do the job, if you don't have a college degree, we're not accepting you. And look how long that went on. That went on for 40 plus years. It's just now kind of ended. And stripping all the programs off, because my wife was like, when they took all the skilled jobs, plumbing, electricians, auto shop, woodworking, building on homes, which kind of went with woodworking. But she's like, no, they built technical schools. I was like, they already had technical schools too. They always had them. My cousins, a couple of my cousins went to electronic school. That's all it was. It was just electronic school. It's a common name. I wish I could think of what it was called. It's a fairly common name. Both of them went to the same facility. My one cousin got a degree. I think my second cousin, I don't know, he just got the skill. So IT&T, I think it was called IT&T maybe. But that's always existed too. Even when you had when I went to school, they had all them. Plumbing. They had a class whereby if you took all those classes, electrician, plumbing, woodworking, by your senior year, you was helping build houses. Some your junior year, you was helping wire and build houses. That was like been your senior project, what you did. It was people that was doing it. It was people that was building engines when I was in high school. At the high school, they was bringing the cars in. As a matter of fact, if somebody car broke in, it was like, man, bring the car in. Let me look at it. Well, we could take our cars into the school to get them fixed. And it was, it was a cheaper price to get your cars fixed at school. And sometimes you could, if you was a student, you could get some of the work done free. I mean, I ain't saying build no engine, but I'm saying some get brakes change and oil change and stuff like that for people to practice was very low cost. So, so it was collusion by all the jobs and everywhere. And then what did sisters do? Sisters said, okay, we get the degrees, we take these loans, boom, these sisters is all in these state jobs, all in these federal jobs. Took advantage of it. But I mean, you can't say, the loans and then, you take a $50,000 loan. And what did one lady say? She only borrowed something like 25,000. And at the point of she was giving her speech, she was still like 70, 80,000. She said she had paid back the 25,000 she borrowed, but the interest rates and the way the loan was constructed. I mean, you know what Biden did with these forgiveness, that was big. I mean, some people 40, 50,000 taken off that will never affect you again, and all the interest, that goes with that kind of loan. Now, I said before, I have a relative, $400,000 or $500,000 student loans. She could possibly never pay that back, but they got where she can make payments on it. That's all they asking right now. But that interest is going to be forever. And now what they're doing to the nurses, I know a lot of people have spoken on that, is, to stop them loans. Like I've said, when I went to college, my scholarship was, I want to say it was $500 to $700, maybe $800. I know one of my friends showed his, and it was less than 1,000 for a semester, and we didn't have to buy books. Like at A&T, where I went, we didn't have to buy books. They gave us all the books we needed. Now, what was the cheaters called? You could buy the Cliff Notes. You could buy them, but the basic class books they gave you. And I remember this is a story with my dad. How I knew about school books is my dad used to go in the bookstore and steal them right with me when I was with him. We'd go in the bookstore and he had his own little bag. He'd start putting books in the bag, stealing books. Then buy a few, and then walk up out of there and done stowed about 10 or 12 and buy 4 or 5. But done stowed about 10, 12 books. He did that right in front of me. Then go sell the books, one of his hustles. Then go sell, he saw how easy it was to steal the book, so he kept doing it. So, but now, like my friend said, it costs about $20,000 a semester or a year. I'm not sure. He didn't really say. I think he said $20,000 a semester. No, maybe $10,000 a semester to go to A&T. Maybe, because I think he said $20,000. So I think that's $10,000 a semester, which still that's a lot of bread. When you're talking about $80,000 for years, and you have to, how much bread you can afford to pay, and how much loan, and some people have enough bread to pay that. So. Yeah, Trump and his administration is tough to figure out. It seems when he's angry from being targeted and not treated fairly, then he tells truths to get the people on his side. Sometimes he does. I'll say sometimes. All politicians lie, but these cats just when it's hard to lie. In the research area, the technological area, it's hard to lie because all this stuff you can look and dispute. And we see a lot of, all of them. Yeah, I'm not just going to say Trump lies. All of them lie. It just seems like that's one of the things of a politician is just to lie and tell untruths and slanted truths. And we see a lot of that from Mr. Trump. So, but the attack, I guess when I look at people that don't, we should look at all the facts. I think Brother Nick pointed out perfectly of the incident in Chicago where them troops grounded came. rode the helicopters and came down on the people. It was an abandoned building that was supposed to be empty. And apparently the gang was ruling the building like we saw in Colorado a year or two ago where a gang took an apartment building. Now that could have been propaganda from a year or two ago, but we don't know. But that's supposed, so Brother Nick clarified it. And it's good to look at every side of each story. But, you know, to blow every boat up, to say that in this day and time, that drug dealers are so unsophisticated that they still just filling a boat full of cocaine and trying to come across. I mean, Scarface tell you back then, all the Coast Guard and the AWACS, and they, you know, they're talking about the 80s of how hard it is that you just can't come over on a boat anymore. That was, you know, Miami Vice shit, you know, that motherfucker think they can. I mean, nobody can do that. You know, nobody can do that anymore. Nobody tries to do that. You ain't seen them blowing up them little bitty submarines they've been coming over with. You know, they got them little bitty submarines where just the head is skimming the water. You know, your peephole is skimming the water. They ain't talking about blowing none of them up. They showing full boats like motherfuckers still in this day and time is filling the ship full of cocaine. Let's just go out in the ocean. We can drive to Miami. Come on, people, Ben ain't doing that. Then once the corporations are back on his side, then start seeking bullshit. But he has cut out a lot of nonsense regarding common sense issues. I don't know. I think, you know, there's been the only way that the rich can get the tax break is by cutting some of this health stuff, and which affects a lot of different people. You know, the health care is going up. No matter what you're for, what side you're on, health care is going to go up significantly for everyone. And it's going to be more than a bill. It's almost like your second mortgage, the way health care is about to go up. You know, I'm transitioning now because I'm gonna be 65 in 26. So, you know, well, you know, retirement age. I mean, the health care for everybody is about to go up. So that can't be denied. And under Obamacare, or whatever it was called, Affordable Care Act, it seemed like it was affordable. I mean, you know, everything is up right now. I mean, inflation is, no matter what you think, inflation is high. Like our gas is at 381, maybe cheapest I saw it, 391, 380 something. And to say the full picture, we just got hit with a 75 cents raise in our gas tax per gallon. Everybody's hitting, well, I mean, on top of the price, we were paying 75 cents more gas tax. So every time we get gas, we get hit with 75 cents, the price of the gas and 75 cents. And so that's how that's why right now gas should really be about, if you look at the price of gas, should be about 330. About 330. But now with the 75 cents, we got 380, So that's one thing that's in this state, but food is up. I mean, a good steak is $30, $40 right now. And I'm not talking about at the restaurant. You can get a little cheaper at the restaurant, but I mean, you go out to the meat place and get steak. I mean, real steaks. Like I can get the smaller New York strips, but they still, when they're not on sale, they were $9 and they're like 13. And I was getting them on sale recently for 10. Them steaks was like $7-8. And the big steaks, the T-bones is almost like $35-40 per pound, per T-bone. So it's significantly, everything is going up. Now up here, we don't have a tax on clothes. So clothes up here are always affordable just because there's no tax on clothes. I would almost dare say this is a clothing state. The amount of access you have to affordable clothing. I mean, that's one thing that this state has is a very affordable clothing. I mean, anyone can look like whatever you want to look like here. As far as clothing is very affordable. It's probably too affordable to me, but but I mean, seriously, I'm raising my fourth child here. clothing is always a big issue. And ever since we've lived here, it's been, like when my boys was little and I first moved here in the early 2000s, true, consumer inflation is still, yeah, absolutely. It is. It is. But all I was going to say is when I moved here in '06, buying their clothes back when knockoffs were good knockoffs. I mean, knockoffs were good knockoffs and sold everywhere. I mean, knockoffs used to be sold in the hood everywhere. You could get some knockoffs. They not just people's trunks. I mean, stores had them. I told you this one store had so many sweet knockoffs that somebody ran into the store, broke out the glass window, and stole the whole side of. He had 2 walls filled, all sizes, all up and down, and somebody broke in and took one of his walls. That's how good. That's how good the fakes were. Now I had some fakes, but to buy your children some fakes when they in second, third grade, no, one of them was in kindergarten and one of them was in second. So by the time they in third and fourth to wear knockoffs, who cares? Then when Stan and Barry, Steve and Barry, Steve Marbury's place, when that place, that was the $5 shoes. I bought a couple of them. They put holes in them. Good. I'll buy another pair. I mean, so it really like with children, it doesn't really matter till they get in junior high. I mean, once they get in junior high, then of course, you don't really want the knockoffs because as years went by, everybody became more sophisticated too. But yeah, it was a very affordable. You can look through the pictures of my children. You can see it was very affordable here to buy clothes. What do you think about the Lakers? They play the Clippers tonight. Yeah, shit, they might be on now. I'm a Laker fan since Wilt. I wasn't a Laker fan until Wilt. I think Wilt made me want to be a professional basketball fan. Wilt and Connie Hawkins. Must say Connie Hawkins too. So I've always been a Laker fan. Like even when Shaq left, I was like, I like the Lakers. I do like Shaq, but I like the Lakers. And LeBron sitting out because of the timing of the NBA gambling investigation regarding Mavericks, Carter, Damon Jones. Yeah, maybe. I don't really think there's going to be much there to get him in. I think his aspect was gambling, and I think that is what I think that's what his involvement. I don't know though. I mean, I don't know what his involvement is. Where there might be a game on now. Let's see what. I don't have it on the computer, but I got it on this tablet. Let's see. Let's see if it's a game on now. Let's see who's playing, if it is on. No, not YouTube. YouTube TV. No, they don't want Sunday Ticket. Oh, the Magic playing right now. The Magic are playing Orlando right now. Okay, about to put it on. Let me see. They connected. Yeah, I got to get this connected to the thing. See some of the game. I don't care about all that shit. I don't know if Peacock and them got any other games, but yeah, the Magic game. Oh, and it's a tournament game too. It's Philadelphia is winning. What's the score? Oh, it just came on. Ah, there it is. Got better. How do I make it longer, bigger? They're showing me all these stats and shit I don't want to see. There's got to be a way I can get rid of all this other stuff. Let's see. Nope. That didn't work. Yeah, when I turn it, they're giving me the stats, y'all. They're giving me the stats. Yeah, but it's 21-17. I don't care about the key plays. Oh, well, so Well, y'all, I'm about to go. I need to blow my nose. Probably got the sniffles from my daughter, but thank you for coming. Um, yeah, Magic and 76ers going, Wizards are whipping the Hawks. Oh, okay. I didn't even go to NBA. Let me see. Is that on NBA in TV? Let's see. Y'all just got, let me see. Sports. Michigan. Oh, Michigan and Auburn are playing. Michigan, Auburn. Yeah, Orlando is the only game I can get right now. Pro game. I ain't got the package. Oh, they got Western Michigan playing Eastern Michigan. That's they playing tonight. They got Kansas, Indiana, but Michigan's playing Auburn. What's the score there? Let me see what they give me the big screen. No, they will not. Give me the big screen. Can't figure out how to make the screen bigger. Because when you watch it on Peacock, you just turn it, the screen gets bigger. Here, they're giving me stats and all this bullshit and keeping it small. So I got to figure out the way to make the screen bigger. But Michigan has a decent team. Are they ranked? What is this score? Michigan is 7th. Auburn is 21st. So, but y'all take care. I always try to finish with something a little spiritual. The biggest thing is just take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Be open to love. That's the biggest thing is be open to love because so many people are closed to love. And it's like it's not that they're closed to love, but they're very selective in how they love. And love is unconditional. Love is supreme. That's why I always say there's no love and hate do not go together. Love is supreme. Just like joy and bliss, there's no opposites of any of those. All those are supreme. All those are just in their own. I mean, again, they try to brainwash you with your language, so you don't really understand the language. You start being influenced by the way they put the language together. And see, that's the part where your spirituality takes over. Is your spirituality is above language. That you start experiencing something that you try to create English words to tell you the spiritual experience you're having, but you get to a certain point where you don't need the English words to understand what's happening. There's other words out there that other concepts that you understand. That's not the English programming that we get. And so you start having these other experiences that you don't need words at all. You just experience. And you've been around people. You've seen twins, how they can interact and, know. And you can be around people, read their bodies and stuff too. And, to get those kind of cues of reading the room. So, these are things that just strengthen you, part of knowing yourself. They know that their thoughts and ideas and dreams and hopes don't just come in English words. That all these things can come in another way.